Over the years, our next guest has been a model, an agent, a writer, and an activist, and now she's leading the fight to bring diversity to the runway.
Welcome to Arise 360, the incomparable Bethann Hardison.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
You take the summer off and come out swinging.
You like it. Well, were you doing anything exciting over the summer?
Yes. I was very happy to say I'm very proud of this. I got my granddaughter into a boarding school, so that was very exciting.
Okay.
And then I went down to Mexico for 10 days in the mountains and rested, and came back to start this casting process.
You got your warrior spirit rejuvenated, and now you're ready.
And now that you're back at work, you're the head of the Diversity Coalition, which is aiming at bringing more black models to the stage, to the runway, and just
Well, I wouldn't say black models. I'm not big on black models. I'm big
Okay.
on black models, but I'm not big on black models per se, meaning models of color.
Models of
models
It's
of
always
color.
better, you know?
Okay.
So
So
it's a little different.
So what's the overall goal of the organization, and who's part of it?
It's not an organization, it's a coalition.
Coalition, excuse me. So, okay, so who's part of the coalition then?
Well, never can say.
Is it a secret?
Yeah.
Well, you are on GMA with Iman, so I'm assuming she's part of the coalition.
She's a supporter,
She's a supporter.
as well as Naomi.
Naomi Campbell.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's all you need.
In the spirit of all of you. I think all of you are part of the coalition because it's a movement, it's a spirit. You know, there are people who are in the industry who basically have never been able to voice their feelings strongly because it would affect their profession, affect them professionally.
Yeah.
So it's better that at this given point, someone who really has less to lose, that's why I could ask maybe an Iman or a Naomi to step out because their careers are really much behind them in that way. Professionally, it is. Personally, it's forward. But it's better to leave people doing the business and still being able to help us other ways.
Well, one of the things the coalition
It's a
did-
revolution.
It's a revolution.
I like that.
Oh, throw your fist up, Bethann.
I'm a baby Fidel.
Well, one of the things you did was the coalition sent a scathing letter to both the head of the British Fashion Council, and to Diane von Furstenberg, head of the Council of Fashion Designers of America.
Right.
And I want to read a little bit. Quote, eyes are on an industry that season after season watches fashion design houses consistently use one or no models of color. No matter the intention, the result is racism. Those are powerful words, Bethann.
Well, they're powerful because someone said it, but it's not like deep. It's
But no one says it.
Well, that's the reason. That's why they're powerful. And the idea is that it's something you see. It's actually, you're looking at it. You know, I say that, and I have this joke, and I say, you know, and the MTA says, if you see something, say something.
Yes, that's true.
I'm saying something.
You're saying something.
Because it goes on so long that people are beginning to feel bad. And, you know, businesses can't thrive the way they want to. Representatives can't do what they want. Casting people feel very bad. Models who are there feel bad. You know, and it's not just the coalition. It's not just, you know, people who are black. You know, it's people who are white, and there are people who are Asian, and people who are Latin. It's a lot of people don't like what's happening, but they don't know what to do.
So I have to ask you bluntly, is the fashion industry racist, Bethann?
Well, you know, everyone says that. Everyone that works in it says, basically, isn't that what it is? If you actually say this, you say, I'm sorry, we're not using any black girls this season. I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. If you keep on saying things like that and saying, and you use consistently 35 white girls or 87 white girls and use one Asian, it seems like you tend to lean towards one race. And if you look, and that's why I said to people, don't get upset if I say it. Because if you look at what the meaning means and what it means, what you're doing, it results in racism. No matter what your intention is. Maybe, you know, you voted for Barack Obama. Doesn't mean you're a racist.
Right. But
But
what
if
you're
your
doing
action-
is racist.
That's right.
So-
And the end results of it, that's the results. And don't be shy and all upset. And I don't want to shame anybody into doing anything. I'm just calling it as I see it.
And as you're calling it, you're doing one thing that many people are afraid to do. You're actually naming names.
Well, that's because they do it. So it's not like it's like private.
Right.
It's not like we went to bed together and I said, oh.
I think some people are afraid of creating bad blood or, you know.
I understand, and I do respect that because they're in that profession that they have to be thoughtful.
But you named close to 100 fashion houses, Bethann.
You said they're guilty
Shannon,
of
you had-
racist acts.
Yeah, you called.
And everyone from Alexander McQueen, Prada, Armani, and Versace to Donna Karan, Hermes, Calvin Klein, and Louis Vuitton.
And what's upsetting for
I
me
mean, that's
is
just a handful of the people you
that's
mentioned.
that's just a handful, and there's many more, but we had to be consistently kind to certain ones because of the fact that, you know, otherwise if you have a whole list that you can't see, you forget the issue.
Right.
But you know what's disturbing to me as well is that there are a lot of people that are on that list of houses, they don't exist anymore, they're dead. And these people that take over these houses, these young casting directors or designers or stylists, they have no understanding of the history of the house.
I mean, how can Saint Laurent be on this list?
Yeah.
When he was such a huge champion of the black model.
Versace.
Versace,
You know what
huge
I mean?
champion of the
Yeah, I
black
can name
model.
others. I mean, I say Paco Rabanne. I saw Paco Rabanne's name on it. It made me like this because I know this man is a Spaniard who went through a lot of stuff to fight against what he believed was naturally right. You know, there were editors who refused to cover his collections. His parents were, and his family was begging him to save the business not to. This is a man who stayed close to what he believed. And when I see his name on it, it's because another little youngin', you know, don't have a clue.
Now, the people who are on the list, were they selected to be on the list because of years of inactivity of using models of color?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. What I actually did is had someone in my office sit and go through every single show for so long that they looked at every single show from New York, London, and we did menswear as well. And so we could actually see who did what and who didn't do. And they would say 0 blacks, 1 Asian. They would just, she counted them out. And that's how we came to, we know what we did is right.
And the numbers don't lie.
No.
The pictures don't lie.
That's
You can
exactly
see them
right.
there.
That's what I said. You know, you can. If somebody said, "Well, how dare you say?" I said, "Roll the tape. Just look at the shows."
Right. So I know they do these fashion week shows all over the world. So do you think that diversity is worse in the European shows, or is it just as egregious as in the U.S.?
No, it's when you see the amount in the designers in Paris, it's worse than even in Milan, and more so in London, more than London, because it's bigger. It's more. It's really unfortunate because, you know, America we have history of slavery and we have our own history of civil rights. So it's a different kind of consciousness in a way where they don't have that same sort of consciousness. Like Milan, the answer from the Milanese council was very good because he basically said, you know, well, to me it was good because he just copped to the fact that they have a real serious law for anorexia because it was brought to their attention and it was pushed upon them, and also for underage models. But they've never deliberated skin color. Well, that's so fair to me. You know, I'm not asking the councils to be taken under toll and saying, look, you council people, please get these designers in shape. They have no rights to. They're overseeing governing body, but they don't tell designers what to do.
But they can encourage them to do certain
They
things.
they can send letters, they can say, listen, I think it's a good idea. You can help be part of the education, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to educate. And what I loved about Milan is because of the fact that you know, you don't see many people walking the streets or going shopping in Milan that are of color. You do in New York. You do in the United States of America. So you can understand that, you know, there's no market. And I love the fact that also that the British Fashion Council wrote directly to me where women's wear had to report because it was being said by the CFDA. Well, this letter came just, you know, and there's no name or there's no signature and there's no address to go back to, and that was not true. It was signed the coalition, and in fact, it came. If it came through an email, you respond to an email. Well, the British, they responded to the email.
So what are the explanations when you're telling them these racist?
Well, no, there's no explanation because once again, they're not the houses; they're just the council.
So are the houses responding at all?
No, I've had a couple of houses that have seen me and told me and sent me emails. Those are ones who are not guilty, saying.
Okay.
So who's to blame?
Good
Who's
work.
to blame, Bethann? Is it the casting agents, the houses,
Well, that's what
the
I say.
models,
That's what I say.
the editors? Should Anna Wintour be speaking up and say she is the most powerful woman in fashion?
No, she's the most.
Should she be saying something?
No, and I think that people like that who have so much power can change everything. It's when people just dare to care. When you dare to care. Otherwise, you have to start looking at. It's like, you know, I love one statement Iman said. If you can't have a conversation about race, then we got a real serious problems with this industry. And people oftentimes, anytime you talk about race, no matter where it is, people don't like to talk about it. They like to think like everything's fine. Why are we bringing this up? You know, well, you know, I had one little kid say to me, well, you know, fashion is a business. It's not about race. Wow. This is some privileged, you know, privileged 12-year-old in my mind. You know what I mean? you can't do that. You have to change things. You have to help change things.
But isn't the fashion industry supposed to be so progressive and so forward-thinking?
Well, that's
are
what
they
people. That's an
stuck?
illusion. That's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Okay.
That's something we think. It's something we had thought before. And besides, it was a little tiny island before. No one ever knew what the fashion business was. Fashion has become popular because of popular culture and all this, technology and inviting everybody and having celebrities come to your show and stars and all that nonsense. It's out of control. And the fact of it is, it's gotten like that.
Well, I've actually heard some of my black model friends saying they're not going out to shows because they've been told we already have our black girl. Is it possible they only have one token black person per show, or is that?
Well, in some cases there are none. In some cases, that's why I've written, one or none. Anyone who did one, I still find that, like, come on, there's a few girls out there that are good. I mean, I don't think that anyone should book a black model because she's black. I always feel that way because I feel that way strongly about that. But I do believe that you should find the good girls and the good boys that are out there and give them the opportunity to do it because, it's a responsibility. It's just a human responsibility. And believe me, it's not making it better for the black person. It's making it better for society. And society is really primarily, still being powered by the white. So it's an education to them, to me.
Well, I think
in your New York Times article, I have to ask you this really quickly. You said, quote, "No one in power slaps these designers around."
Yeah.
So who should be doing the slapping,
Well,
Bethann?
you did say that, well, okay. Well, Miss Winter could try. I mean, she can get, and I'm sure they'll be saying, "I'm sorry."
got that
Yes,
right.
if Anna Wintour slaps you, you're going to say, "I'm sorry."
You don't want to miss out on a chance to be in Vogue, right?
That's exactly right. I
Yeah.
mean, so she knows what time it is. I mean, it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't have the same desire to correct things. But I don't believe, I used to think, in my lifetime, we'll ever see a change? You have to think about the forefathers and the things that they've done. And that's in our time period when we've all still been born. I mean, look at even thinking about, ecology. You know what I mean? Just things you think, the environment. If you put attention to things and you just put a wave of movement, things change. So this is not something that's just, oh, wow, this is round one, believe me. Because
Round one.
So what's next on your road to change? Are you planning anything?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You think
Always.
I'm going to tell you?
Oh, come on, just a little bit.
Then they'll know. It has to be, because no one knew about this.
This
It just
did come
happened.
out of nowhere.
Just happened.
It just happened. But it was sitting, waiting for
Like
months.
all brilliant rebellions, you
Yeah,
never tell, right?
You just have to show up. And just keep doing little things. Just keep doing little things. Because the thing I learned, and I learned this when I had gotten an award in May, and I had said, activism needs to remain active, and that's the thing you have to realize when this is such an important cause, and it's really about our local society and also to represent our industry, that you need to actually take hold of it and do something about it. And if I take my foot away off the gas, the car's going to stop. If I walk away from it, it's going to change, and we all need to just be responsible.
Should there be an economic impact?
Well, people
Should
say
black
that.
consumers not purchase from houses that aren't kind to black models?
Well, it would be a consciousness on their part. That's something I can't ask of anyone because I don't even trust boycotts because people say they will and they don't. There's more people, they just love to go shopping.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to even, but people can think about it. I've heard people say, what, Celine? I ain't buying no more of those bags because most young, beautiful black women who are successful, they all have a Celine bag. But I've heard people say, well, that's enough of that.
No,
and that's
I said I'm not going to buy one.
Well, that's another one. That's right.
But because I heard about this.
That's right. And
I had no idea.
That's very important if people can become conscious on their own. And I think the reason of making all of this people aware is not just to sort of slam the designer. He's already doing it, but no one's, it's like the emperor's new clothes. They take some little kid to say, but he has no clothes on. You know what I mean? It's that. You just have to say something so other people can, what? And that's the reason why not to embarrass the designer, to make the world aware.
Well, we're glad you're making them aware. And where can people go to find out more about the Diversity Coalition?
Balanceddiversity.com.
Balanceddiversity.com.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be checking it out.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you had me on.
Yay, thank you for being here.
You're watching Arise Entertainment 360.